The alien king of Viridian watched as his daughter, Princess Xenia, paced across the crystalline floor. She had been sulking since he announced her upcoming meeting with the human who saved his life during the cosmic storm. Last rotation Xenia had striking emerald skin that shimmered under the twin suns of their homeworld. Her 6 fingers on each hand moved rapidly as she gestured in frustration at her father. Her long silver hair flowed down to her waist, moving like liquid metal with each step. Why must I meet this human creature? Xenia asked, her antennae twitching with annoyance. They are primitive beings from a backwater planet. Their technology is centuries behind ours, and they still fight among themselves over resources. This particular human showed exceptional courage. Her father replied calmly, adjusting his ceremonial robes of office when our ship was damaged by the cosmic storm, and I was trapped under fallen equipment. She risked her own life to pull me from the wreckage when my royal guards had already given me up for lost. Xenia rolled her large almond-shaped eyes, which shifted from purple to blue, representing her changing mood. Fine, I will meet her, but do not expect me to be impressed. The king smiled knowingly. His daughter had always been stubborn-born during the Great Migration when their people fled their dying sun. She had never known anything but life among the stars. Perhaps this human would show her a different perspective. The royal advisor entered the throne room and bowed deeply before speaking. The human shuttle has entered our atmosphere, Your Majesty. They will arrive at the palace within the hour. Prepare the welcome ceremony. The king commanded not the full royal protocol, but enough to honor our guests. Xenia scoffed. A welcome ceremony for a human? How ridiculous, daughter. The king said, his voice firm. You will treat this human with respect. She represents not only herself, but her entire species. This could be the beginning of a formal alliance between Viridians and humans. Humans are barely space-capable. Xenia argued they only reached their own moon a few generations ago. Why would we need an alliance with them? The king gestured toward the massive window overlooking the capital city with its towering spires and floating platforms. Because we cannot keep running forever. The Draconians grow closer each cycle, and humans have qualities we lack. Xenia knew her father spoke truth. The Draconians had hunted their people across 3 galaxies for their advanced technology and biological adaptability. The Viridians had managed to stay hidden, but each escape was narrower than the last. I will behave as expected, Xenia conceded, but I still think this is unnecessary. The king watched his daughter leave the throne room, her back straight and proud. She was so much like her mother, strong-willed and fiercely protective of their people. He hoped the human would surprise Xenia, as she had surprised him. Xenia retreated to her private chambers where her attendant Mira waited. Mira had been with Xenia since childhood and was the closest thing to a friend the princess had. I must prepare to meet the human, Xenia announced, selecting a formal royal garment from her collection. Mira smiled, her orange eyes brightening. I heard they breathe oxygen just like us, but their skin does not change colors with their emotions. How strange to hide one's feelings. Xenia paused, curious. Despite herself. What else do you know about humans? Mira adjusted Xenia's silver circlet. Their lives are very short, less than 100 cycles, but they accomplish much in that time. They create art and music. They explore. They innovate. Perhaps that is why they seem so reckless. They have no time to waste. Xenia considered this as she prepared. Perhaps there was something to learn from humans after all, though she would never admit it aloud. When the time came, Xenia joined her father in the grand reception hall. The massive crystal dome above them reflected the light of the twin suns, creating rainbows that danced across the floor. Viridian nobles lined the walls, their skin shifting through shades of green and blue. As excitement and curiosity flowed through the crowd, the royal fanfare played as the massive doors swung open. Xenia stood tall beside her father, expecting to see a creature that matched the violent entertainment transmissions their scientists had intercepted from Earth. Instead, a single human female walked confidently into the hall. She was shorter than any adult Viridian, but moved with purpose and dignity. Her skin was a warm brown, her eyes alert and intelligent as she took in the alien surroundings. This is Lily Bennett, captain of the Earth vessel, Starseeker announced. The royal advisor Xenia blinked in confusion, her skin shifting to a lighter shade of green. The human was not what she expected. Lily stepped forward and bowed respectfully. First to the king, then to Xenia. Your Majesty and Princess. It is an honor to meet you both. I bring greetings from Earth and thanks for allowing us to visit your beautiful world. The king inclined his head. Captain Bennett, your bravery saved my life. I consider it a debt of honor, Lilies. Smile was warm. No debt is needed, Your Majesty. Any person of conscience would have done the same when we received your distress signal. Any person, perhaps Xenia thought, but not any species. Many would have simply taken advantage of a damaged Viridian ship for its technology. Captain Bennett, the king said. I hope you will enjoy your stay here. My daughter, Princess Xenia, will act as your guide and cultural interpreter during your visit. Xenia managed to keep her skin from darkening in annoyance as she nodded formally at the human. I will ensure you learn much about our people. Captain Lily turned to her with interest. I look forward to it, Princess. I have many questions about your world and culture. If you're willing to share. There was something in the human's direct gaze that caught Xenia off guard, a genuine curiosity and lack of fear, despite being surrounded by beings who could easily overpower her. Perhaps this assignment would not be as tedious as Xenia had feared. The welcome banquet began with Viridian delicacies arranged. Around floating platters, Xenia watched with interest as Lily carefully sampled each dish, showing appreciation for the alien cuisine. Tell me, Captain Bennett, Xenia said as they ate, how did you come to be in this sector of space when my father's ship was damaged? Lily set down her eating utensil. We are on a long-term exploration mission. We seek to map this region and make peaceful contact with other intelligent species. Your father's ship was the first Viridian vessel we've encountered, though we'd heard stories about your people. What sort of stories? Xenia asked, her antennae twitching slightly. That you're highly advanced but nomadic. That your technology is based on living crystal and that you've been traveling for generations. Lily replied, I see now that the stories didn't do your civilization justice. Xenia felt a flash of pride at the human's words despite herself. Perhaps there was more to these creatures than she had assumed. After the welcome banquet, the king suggested that Xenia show Lily the famous botanical gardens of the palace. Xenia reluctantly agreed, though she was beginning to find the human less irritating than expected. They walked through massive crystal archways that opened onto gardens that defied earthly physics. Plants floated in midair, their roots dangling freely while others grew upside down from floating islands. Lily gasped in wonder as bioluminescent flowers opened at their approach, releasing glowing pollen that drifted upward in spiraling patterns. This is incredible. Lily breathed, reaching out but stopping short of touching a floating blue blossom. How do they survive without soil? Xenia felt a surge of pride in her people's achievements. The plants absorb nutrients from the air. She explained our scientists engineered them to thrive in various gravitational conditions. When we travel between worlds, these plants come with us, providing oxygen and food. So they're not just beautiful, but practical. Lily observed intelligent design. They continued walking along crystal paths that illuminated beneath their feet. Xenia noticed how Lily observed everything with intense focus, asking thoughtful questions about Viridian technology, culture, and history. How can you know so much yet understand so little? Xenia finally said, her frustration breaking through. Lily looked at her curiously. What do you mean? Humans are so fragile, your bodies break easily. Your lives are so short, yet you venture into space facing dangers that would terrify most species. Why risk yourselves when the universe is so vast and dangerous? Lily considered this for a moment. Perhaps because we are fragile. We value each moment more. Our short lives give us courage. Rather than fear, we know our time is limited, so we try to make it count. You had never considered this perspective. Our species lives for centuries. We plan in decades while humans think in days and years. It makes you seem impulsive. Exactly, Lily smiled. We may seem reckless to you, but we see possibilities where others see danger. When I found your father trapped, I didn't calculate risks. I just acted. For the first time, Xenia felt her prejudice begin to crack. Here was wisdom in the humans. Words, a different kind of intelligence shaped by mortality rather than longevity. Tell me about Earth, Lily asked as they paused beside a pool where liquid silver flowed upward in a reverse waterfall. Xenia hesitated. We have studied your transmissions, but have never visited your world. What is it like to live on a planet with only one sun? Lily described Earth's oceans, mountains, forests, and deserts. She spoke of human cities and rural villages, of the many cultures and languages that had developed on a single world. Xenia listened with growing interest, surprised by the diversity that had evolved on this one small planet. I would like to see Earth someday. Xenia admitted, surprising herself with the truth of this statement. Lily smiled. I hope that will be possible. Relations between our worlds are just beginning after all. The peace was shattered by a deafening alarm. The palace security system blared warnings as red lights pulsed throughout the gardens. What's happening? Lily asked, her hand automatically reaching for a weapon that wasn't there. Orbital security breach. Xenia explained, her skin darkening with fear. The Draconians, they must have found us. The Draconians were a warrior race that had hunted the Viridians across multiple solar systems for generations. Their ships appeared above the palace, massive and threatening, their distinctive triangular shape visible even through the crystal dome overhead. Palace guards rushed toward them. Princess, we must get you to the shelter immediately. Xenia grabbed Lily's arm. Come with me, you're under my protection as a diplomatic guest. They ran through the palace corridors as explosions rocked the structure. The Draconians had begun their attack. Dust and crystal fragments fell from the ceiling. Your people, Lily shouted. We need to help evacuate them. The royal shelter can hold thousands, Xenia explained as they descended deep below the palace. But if the Draconians capture my father or me, they will force our scientists to create weapons for them. Our biology allows us to manipulate living crystal in ways no other species can. They reached a massive door made of swirling metal that seemed alive. Xenia pressed her six-fingered hand against it, and the door recognized her royal DNA signature. It began to open, revealing a large chamber beyond, but suddenly the ceiling above them collapsed, blocking the entrance with debris. Xenia pushed against it, but it would not move. The secondary entrance is across the palace, she said, her voice tight. With panic, we will never make it. Lily examined the debris, then the surrounding structure. Her eyes narrowed in concentration. I have an idea, but I need your trust. Why would I trust you? Xenia asked, though with less hostility than she might have hours earlier. Because unlike your people, humans specialize in impossible situations, Lily replied with determination. Lily found an access panel nearby and pulled it open, revealing the complex circuitry of the palace systems. What are you doing? Xenia asked, watching as Lily examined the wiring. Your structural supports use crystalline technology, similar to our quantum computing. Lily explained, working quickly. If I can reroute the energy flow, I might be able to temporarily weaken the molecular bonds of the debris. Xenia looked skeptical. Such knowledge is restricted even among our own people. How could a human know this? Lily smiled as she carefully connected several circuits in a new configuration. We might be primitive, but we're excellent observers. I studied your technology when we rescued your father. I noticed how your ship's healers repaired damaged sections. The debris began to shimmer, and Lily pushed Xenia back. Now she shouted as she kicked the debris, which dissolved into particles long enough for them to pass through before resolidifying behind them. Inside the shelter, they found chaos Viridians of all ages gathered in groups, their skin colors fluctuating with fear and confusion. Royal guards attempted to maintain order while engineers worked at control panels monitoring the attack above. Xenia. Father Xenia called, spotting the king coordinating with his military advisors. Xenia, the king embraced her briefly. Thank the cosmos, you are safe. The attack came without warning. Our outer defenses were disabled before we knew they were here. Because of the human, Xenia admitted she knew how to manipulate our technology to get us through blocked entrance. The king looked at Lily with new respect. It seems I owe you my life. Twice over, Captain Bennett. Lily shook her head. We need to focus on stopping the Draconians. Do you have communications access from here? Yes, but what good will that do? The king asked. Our defenses are failing and evacuation ships cannot launch while the Draconians control orbit. My ship is in orbit on the far side of your moon. Lily explained. If I can contact them, we can coordinate a counterattack. The Draconians won't expect your single ship against a Draconian fleet. The military advisor scoffed. It would be suicide. Lily smiled grimly. Sometimes the unexpected works in our favor. May I see your defense systems and tactical displays? Xenia watched as her father hesitated, then nodded to the advisors to grant Lily access to their systems. The Humans studied the displays quickly, asking pointed questions about draconian weaknesses and Viridian defensive capabilities. Humans may be physically weaker, but their minds are remarkably adaptable. Xenia observed to her father they think differently. Then that is their strength. Her father agreed, and perhaps what we need most now. Lily managed to contact her ship and explained her plan. The Starseeker would use the moon's gravity to launch a surprise attack while the Viridians activated a specific frequency in their crystal technology, one that Lily had noticed affected draconian sensors during previous encounters. It's a massive gamble. The military advisor warned. Sometimes that's all you have. Lily replied calmly. But I believe it will work. Xenia felt something unfamiliar as she watched Lily coordinate with both human and Viridian crews. It was respect and something more, a connection to this strange alien who fought for people not her own with such determination. The shelter rumbled as another draconian attack hit the surface above the tactical displays, showed multiple enemy ships in formation around the planet. Their weapons targeting key Viridian structures. Lily stood at the command console directing both her own crew via communication link and advising the Viridian defenders. Her human body seemed small among the taller aliens, but her presence filled the room. The Draconians use quantum targeting systems, Lily explained, pointing to the display. Their accuracy depends on precise calculations of our position and mass. How does this help us? The military advisor asked impatiently. The Viridian crystals in your buildings and technology, Lily continued, can be tuned to emit a specific frequency that will distort those calculations. My ship has detected this effect during our scan. Xenia stepped forward. It could work, she said. Our ancestors discovered similar properties in the crystals during the early migrations, but we never weaponized them. The king nodded to his engineers. Begin the modifications immediately, he ordered. Lily turned to Xenia. We need to amplify the effect. Can you show me to your central crystal matrix? Xenia hesitated. That area is restricted. Even I am rarely allowed access. The king interrupted, his skin shifting to a deep authoritative green. Take her there, Xenia. The situation demands extreme measures. Xenia led Lily through narrow corridors deeper into the shelter, past layers of security that responded to her. Royal biomarkers. They finally reached a massive chamber where a giant crystal pulsed with energy at the center. The heart of all Viridian technology. Lily gasped in wonder. It's beautiful. It's alive, isn't it? Xenia nodded. It's a fragment of our original homeworld, the first crystal that developed consciousness and partnered with our ancestors when our sun began to die. It powers everything from our ships to our agricultural systems. Lily approached it cautiously. May I? Xenia nodded. Permission. Granted. But be careful, it senses intentions. Lily reached out her hand, hovering just above the crystal surface. I'm not here to harm, she whispered. I need your help to save your people. To Xenia's amazement, the crystal glowed brighter, responding to the humans. Words no non-Viridian had ever connected with the crystal before. The crystal matrix accepted your presence, Xenia said with surprise. You must have truly pure intentions. Lily smiled grimly. I just want to stop the killing the Draconians have pursued. Your people long enough now. Let's see if we can modify the frequency. Together they worked, Lily suggesting changes while Xenia implemented them through the Viridian interface, their fingers moving in concert across the crystalline controls above them. In space, the Starseeker emerged from behind the moon, its human crew ready to execute Lily's plan. The Viridian defense ships positioned themselves according to her strategy. The crystal matrix is ready, Xenia announced. On my mark, Lily said into her communicator, all Viridian ships activate crystal resonance frequency, then fall back to coordinates alpha. The Starseeker will target their lead vessel. The king's voice came through the speaker. We are prepared. Captain Lily took a deep breath and nodded now. Xenia activated the sequence. The giant crystal pulsed with energy, sending waves outward through all connected Viridian technology throughout the planet and fleet. The crystal structures began to resonate at the precise frequency Lily had calculated. On the tactical display, the Draconian ships suddenly scattered their formation, breaking apart. It's working, Xenia exclaimed. Their targeting systems are failing. Lily grinned, but her expression quickly turned serious. This is only temporary. We need to press the advantage while we have it. He directed the combined fleet in a daring assault pattern, the human ship moving with surprising agility for its size, executing maneuvers the Draconians could not predict, while the Viridian vessels followed in formation. The lead Draconian ship took heavy damage, its shields failing under the coordinated attack. The others began to retreat, realizing their advantage had been lost. Victory is not yet certain, the military advisor warned. They will adapt to our frequency. Lily nodded. We need something more. Xenia, can the crystal matrix be directly linked to your defensive weapons? Such a connection has never been attempted. Xenia said it could destabilize the entire system, or it could give us the power boost we need, Lily countered. Sometimes risks must be taken. Xenia looked at the human, seeing the determination in her eyes. This was the difference between their species. Humans embraced the unknown, while Viridians sought stability. Lily was willing to risk everything on an untested theory, because she saw no alternative. I will attempt the link, Xenia decided, but I need your help. The connections must be precisely timed. They worked frantically as reports came in of draconian reinforcements. Approaching, Xenia's 6 fingers flew across the crystal interface while Lily calculated power distributions and trajectories. The crystal began to pulse erratically as they established new connections. Energy readings spiked dangerously. It's becoming unstable. The engineers warned we must abort. Not yet. Lily insisted we're almost there. Xenia felt sweat on her green skin, a rare occurrence for her species. As her body temperature rose with the stress, the fate of her people rested on this moment on her cooperation with this human she had so recently dismissed as primitive. There, Lily exclaimed as the final connection locked into place. Now Xenia activated the sequence, sending a massive surge of crystal energy through the Viridian defense network. On the display they watched as a wave of energy expanded outward from the planet enveloping the Draconian fleet. The enemy ship systems failed simultaneously. Their weapons and engines disabled by the crystal wave, they drifted helplessly in space. It worked. Lily breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The Viridian forces quickly moved to secure the disabled Draconian vessels, while the Starseeker provided cover against any that might recover too quickly. In the crystal chamber, Xenia stared at Lily. With new understanding, you saved my people, she said softly. We saved them together, Lily corrected. I had the theory, but you had the knowledge and courage to implement it. The crystal matrix pulsed gently between them, as if approving their cooperation. When they returned to the command center, they found the king addressing his advisors and generals. The Draconians have been captured or driven off. He announced their fleet is in retreat. Cheer went up from the Viridians, their skin shifting to bright, celebratory colors. The king turned to Lily and Xenia as they entered. Captain Bennett, you have done the impossible, he said. You turned our defensive technology into a weapon that defeated our oldest enemy. The solution was always within your grasp, Lily replied humbly. You simply needed a different perspective. Sometimes an outsider can see possibilities that those closest to a problem cannot. The king nodded. Wisdom indeed, and a powerful argument for continued relations between our people. Lily smiled. I believe this is the beginning of a valuable alliance. Xenia watched the human with growing admiration. Lily had saved them all with her quick thinking and courage. Perhaps humans had more to offer than Xenia had ever imagined. As the immediate crisis passed, attention turned to repairing the damage and securing the captured Draconian vessels. Lily and her crew were honored guests helping with recovery efforts, while diplomatic talks began between human and Viridian representatives. Xenia found Lily one evening standing on a balcony overlooking the capital city, which was beginning to shine again as power was restored to its crystal spires. It's beautiful, Lily said as Xenia joined her. I never imagined I'd see anything like this when we set out from Earth. Xenia stood beside her, watching her people's home twinkle in the light of the twin moons. I never imagined a human would save us all. Lily laughed softly. I think we saved each other. That's what alliances are about, finding strength in our differences. The next 2 days passed in a flurry of activity as the Viridians prepared for both the arrival of coalition forces and the impending Draconian attack. Lily worked tirelessly alongside Xenia, coordinating defenses and explaining coalition protocols. To the Viridian leadership, Xenia was impressed by the humans' stamina despite requiring more rest than Viridians. Lily pushed herself to the limit, her determination never wavering. "Do all humans have your courage?" Xenia asked as they reviewed defense plans in the command center. Lily smiled wearily. "I don't think I'm particularly courageous, it's just that. When something matters enough, you find strength you didn't know you had." Xenia considered this. "It's different for us. Our long lives make us cautious. We always think of the distant future of consequences that might unfold over centuries. Perhaps that's the balance we can offer each other." Lily suggested, "Your people bring wisdom and patience, while humans bring immediacy and adaptability." Before Xenia could respond, an alert sounded throughout the palace. Sensors had detected multiple ships emerging from quantum slip at the edge of the system. "The Coalition?" Lily asked hopefully. The sensor operator shook his head. "Negative energy signatures match. Draconian vessels. They have arrived earlier than predicted." "How many?" the king demanded. 30 warships, the operator replied, "the largest force we've ever encountered." Xenia felt her heart sink. That was far more than the Viridian defense fleet could handle, even with the crystal disruption technology. Lily studied the tactical display. They're spreading out to surround the planet. She noted, "They learned from last time. They won't fall into the same trap." A new alert sounded. More ships detected emerging from hyperspace on the far side of the system. The operator's skin brightened. Unknown configuration. "Not Draconian. On screen." The king ordered. The main display activated, showing sleek vessels of various designs emerging into normal space in perfect formation. "Coalition ships," Lily exclaimed, her face breaking into a smile. "I recognize the flagships." A communication request came through from the lead Coalition vessel. The king nodded, and the screen changed to show a diverse group of beings on the bridge of a massive ship. A tall, blue-skinned humanoid stepped forward. "I am Admiral Norin of the Coalition Defense Force." He announced, "We received Captain Bennett's request and have come to honor our commitment to the newest members of our alliance." The king bowed slightly. "Admiral, your timely arrival is most welcome. The Draconian fleet has just entered our system." Norin nodded. "We are aware and have already deployed interceptors to engage their advanced ships. I must inform you that Coalition protocol requires we attempt peaceful resolution before engaging in combat. We will transmit surrender terms to the Draconians." The military advisor scoffed. "The Draconians do not surrender, perhaps not to Viridians alone." Norin replied, "But they may reconsider. When facing the combined might of 17 species, we have dealt with them before in other sectors." While the Coalition fleet moved into defensive positions around the Viridian world, Lily explained to Xenia the various species represented in the alliance, from the crystalline Arcturians to the gaseous methane-breathing Halabi, each bringing unique technologies and abilities to the Coalition. Xenia was fascinated by this diversity. In all her centuries, she had encountered few other intelligent species besides the Draconians, and now humans. The universe suddenly seemed much larger and more complex than she had imagined. The Draconian response came quickly. They refused the Coalition terms and accelerated toward the Viridian world. "So be it." Admiral Norin said. Coalition fleet engaged defensive protocol Epsilon. The battle that followed was unlike anything Xenia had ever witnessed. Coalition ships moved in perfect coordination, using technologies she had never seen before. Adaptive shield, harmonics that deflected Draconian energy weapons, phase-shifting hulls that allowed weapons fire to pass harmlessly through them, and targeting systems of incredible precision. Lily stood beside Xenia, watching the tactical display with professional interest, explaining Coalition strategy. "The Draconians are powerful, but they fight as individuals," she noted, "while Coalition forces fight as one integrated unit." The Viridian fleet joined the defense, their crystal technology complementing the Coalition weapon systems in ways neither side had anticipated. The Draconian advance faltered, then stalled as ship after ship was disabled, not destroyed. "They are disabling, not destroying them," Xenia observed. "Coalition policy." Lily explained, "We seek to end conflicts, not exterminate opponents. Even these Draconians have the right to surrender and return home with a warning." Within hours, the Draconian fleet was in full retreat, those ships not captured or disabled fleeing back toward their territory. The Coalition pursuit forces followed just far enough to ensure they did not regroup. When Admiral Norin arrived at the palace for formal discussions, Xenia was struck by the diversity of the delegation representatives from a dozen species. Some humanoid, others wildly different from any life form she had encountered. The official welcome ceremony was held in the Grand Hall, with the king formally accepting provisional membership in the coalition pending full review and approval by the council afterward. Lily introduced Xenia to the various coalition representatives, each greeting her with their own cultural gestures of respect. "This is only the beginning," Lily told her, excitement evident in her voice. "There will be cultural exchanges, scientific missions, joint projects. Your people have so much to offer the coalition, and much to learn." Xenia acknowledged, feeling both humbled and excited by the possibilities. That evening, a celebration was held in the palace gardens. Coalition and Viridian representatives, mingling freely, sharing stories and knowledge, the air filled with dozens of languages. Translator devices working overtime to facilitate communication. Xenia found Lily standing alone, looking up at the stars. "What are you thinking?" Xenia asked, joining. Her Lily smiled that this is why we explore the stars, not just to discover new worlds, but to find new friends, to build something greater than any one species could achieve alone. "You sound like a philosopher," Xenia teased. "Not a starship captain," Lily laughed. "Perhaps I am both. We humans contain multitudes." The next day brought news that Lily and the Starseeker would soon depart, continuing their exploration mission. Now, with Viridian representatives on board as official coalition liaison, Xenia sought out her father in his private chambers. "I wish to request permission to join the human ship," she said formally. As the first Viridian ambassador to the coalition, the king studied his daughter, seeing the determination in her eyes. "You have changed. Since meeting Captain Benetti," her father Xenia admitted. "I see now that isolation has cost our people greatly. We have much to learn from others and much to teach. I believe I can serve our people best by helping to build this new alliance." The king nodded with pride. "You speak wisely, daughter. Permission granted. You will represent the Viridians with honor." When Xenia informed Lily of her decision, the human captain embraced her in the human custom of friendship. "Are you sure this is what you want?" Lily asked. "The coalition worlds are very different from what you're used to." "I am certain," Xenia replied. "I have lived for 3 centuries and seen little beyond Viridian society. It is time I experienced the greater universe." On the day of departure, Xenia stood on the shuttle platform, her few possessions packed for the journey. Her father and the royal court had come to bid her farewell. "Remember, daughter," the king said, "you carry not only our hopes, but our history. Share it wisely with our new allies." "I will, father," Xenia promised as the shuttle lifted toward the waiting Starseeker. Xenia watched her homeworld grow smaller below. This was not an ending, but a beginning for her people, and for herself. The Viridians would no longer flee across the stars, but would take their place among the coalition species as equals and allies, aboard the Starseeker. Lily welcomed Xenia to the bridge. "This is Commander Riley, my first officer, and Dr. Kate, our chief science officer. Both have been briefed on Viridian biology and culture." "A pleasure, Ambassador," Riley said with a formal bow. Xenia smiled. "Please call me Xenia. We will be traveling together for some time after all." Lily gave the order, and the Starseeker moved away from the Viridian world toward its next destination, with coalition vessels escorting them to the system edge as they prepared for quantum slip. Lily turned to Xenia. "The Coalition Council is eager to meet you. They have many questions about Viridian crystal technology and your adaptive biology, and I have many questions for them." Xenia replied, "About all the species I have yet to encounter, about their worlds and histories." Lily smiled. That curiosity, that willingness to learn is why humans and Viridians will work well together despite our differences. As the Starseeker entered quantum slip, leaving Viridian space behind, Xenia felt not loss but possibility. Her people were safe at last, protected by new allies and friends. The centuries of running had ended, and a new era had begun. Sometimes the most powerful force was not immortality or advanced technology, but connection. The ability to reach across differences and find common ground. That was the true strength of both humans and Viridians. And it would carry them forward together into the unknown future that awaited among the stars. In the days following the draconian attack, Xenia found herself spending more time with Lily. The human captain had earned the respect of the Viridian people, and the king had appointed Xenia as the official liaison between their species. They walked Through the partially repaired city observing reconstruction efforts, Viridian engineers used crystal technology to regrow damaged structures, the buildings healing themselves like living organisms under their guidance. "You truly are remarkable, Lily," commented, watching a shattered tower slowly reform its elegant spire. "The way you work with these crystals, it's like a partnership, not just technology." Xenia nodded. "That is precisely what it is. The crystals are semi-conscious. They respond to our intentions and guidance. We do not force them to take shape, we ask, and they comply if our purpose aligns with their nature. And if it doesn't?" Lily asked curiously. "Then the crystal resists." Xenia explained, "It becomes brittle or cloudy, unusable for our purposes. That is why weapons development has always been difficult for us. The crystals prefer creation over destruction." "Fascinating," Lily mused. "So when we modified them to disrupt draconian systems, it was a defensive action." Xenia finished, "Not meant to harm, but to protect. That is why the crystals cooperated." They continued their tour, Xenia increasingly aware of how Lily observed and processed information. The human asked insightful questions, made connections between seemingly unrelated aspects of Viridian culture, and offered observations that sometimes surprised Xenia with their depth. "I have a question for you," Lily said as they paused at a viewpoint overlooking the valley below. The Viridian settlement spread out before them like a glittering tapestry. "Why have your people remained nomadic for so long? Your technology could easily terraform worlds to suit your needs. Yet you choose to live primarily on your ships." Moving from system to system, Xenia considered her answer carefully. "It's partly cultural," she admitted. "After the death of our original sun, our ancestors believed that attachment to any single world was dangerous. They taught that true security comes from mobility, from being able to leave at a moment's notice." "And the other part?" Lily prompted. Xenia sighed, her skin darkening slightly. "It's the draconians. They have hunted us for generations. Whenever we settle for too long, they eventually find us. This world has been our home for nearly 50 years, longer than usual. We had hoped they had finally lost our trail." Lily frowned. "It's hard to imagine living with that constant threat." "How did the conflict begin?" "That is a complex question," Xenia replied. "Some say it began when our scientists refused to share crystal technology with them. Others believe they fear us because our adaptive biology allows us to survive in environments that would kill them. What matters is that they will not stop unless something fundamental changes," Lily suggested, like what Xenia asked. "Nothing has changed in centuries of conflict." Lily gestured to the city and to herself. "Like this, an alliance with humans, perhaps other species too. Isolated. Your people are vulnerable but connected to a network of allies. You become much harder to attack." Xenia had never considered such a possibility. Viridians had always kept to themselves, believing isolation was their best protection. But Lily's words made sense. The Draconians had only grown stronger, while the Viridians remained stagnant. "You think like a human," Xenia observed, with a smile. "Your species always seeks connections." Lily laughed. "Is that so bad?" "Not at all," Xenia admitted. "Perhaps it is exactly what we need." Their conversation was interrupted by a messenger from the palace. "The king requests your presence immediately." "Princess," he said, his skin pulsing with urgency. "Captain Bennett is also summoned." They hurried back to the palace, where they found the king in the command center surrounded by his advisors and military leaders. "What has happened?" Xenia asked. "We have intercepted Draconian communications," the king explained. "They are regrouping for another attack. A much larger force this time." "How much time do we have?" Lily asked. 3 days at most," the military advisor replied. "They are gathering a fleet from across their territory. This will be no ordinary raid, but a full invasion force." Lily frowned. "Can your people evacuate?" "Not all of us," the king said sadly. "And where would we go? They would only follow. We cannot keep running forever." Xenia felt a chill of fear. This could be the end of her people. The Draconians would not show mercy after their recent defeat. Lily paced the room, her mind clearly racing. Then she stopped. "I need to contact Earth," she said abruptly. The king looked surprised. "What can Earth do? Your world is many light years from here." "True," Lily nodded, "but since the discovery of quantum entanglement communication, we've established a network of allied species throughout this sector of the galaxy. The coalition, as we call it, was formed specifically To maintain peace and protect against aggressive expansion by species like the Draconians. You never mentioned this coalition. Xenia said, "You never asked," Lily replied simply. "And until now, I was still assessing whether your people would be interested." In joining, Xenia looked at her father, who seemed intrigued by this revelation. "How many species belong to this coalition?" he asked. 17 at last count. Lily said, "From 12 different star systems. Not all are technologically advanced as the Viridians, but each brings unique strengths and resources to the Alliance. And you believe they would help us?" the king asked. "I believe they would welcome the Viridians as members," Lily said. "And membership includes mutual defense. Our laws require all coalition members to aid another under threat," the military advisor scoffed. "How could these other species reach us in time? The Draconians will be here in 3 days." Lily smiled, mysterious and confident. "Let me contact my superiors." "Permission." "Granted," the king said. Lily used the palace communication system modified to connect with her ship in orbit. Xenia watched as she spoke with her commanding officers, explaining the situation and requesting immediate assistance. While they waited for a response, Xenia pulled Lily aside. "Is this coalition really as powerful as you suggest?" she asked quietly. "Or are you offering false hope?" Lily's expression was serious. "I would never give false hope, Xenia. The coalition is real and significant. Though relatively young, each member species brings unique abilities and perspectives to our alliance. Humans are actually among the less advanced technologically, but we excel at diplomacy and bringing diverse groups together." Xenia studied the human sensing. "No deception. What would membership mean for my people?" "It would mean no more running," Lily said simply. "Your nomadic days could end by choice rather than necessity. You could settle, establish permanent colonies, trade with other species, share knowledge. It would mean security but also new responsibilities." "What sort of responsibilities?" Xenia asked. "Respecting the rights of all sentient beings, adhering to coalition laws, regarding planetary development technology, sharing conflict resolution." Lily listed the coalition is built on principles of mutual respect and cooperation. Before Xenia could ask more questions, an alert sounded at the communications console. A response from Earth. Lily hurried over and read the incoming message. Her face brightening. "Good news," she announced. "The Coalition Council has granted emergency provisional membership to the Viridians and authorized immediate defensive support. 3 coalition fleets are already en route, using our quantum slip technology. They will arrive within 2 standard days before the Draconians reach your system." "Quantum slip," Xenia asked. "A method of faster-than-light travel," Lily explained. "Different from your crystal drives, but equally effective." The king stepped forward. "Captain Bennett, if what you say is true, then you have given my people new hope. But I must know, what does Earth gain from this alliance?" Lily looked directly at him. "Knowledge, Your Majesty. The Viridians' understanding of crystal technology and bioengineering far surpasses our own. While we can offer protection and new perspectives, cultural exchange, trade opportunities, and the chance to be part of something greater than ourselves. Is that not enough?" The king nodded slowly. "It is indeed, if your coalition arrives as promised. The Viridians will honor this new alliance." Xenia felt a surge of emotion. Part relief, part excitement. Could this truly be the end of their centuries of running?